Hey, welcome back to DieCash Cars. So we all know what this is. This is the 1971 Datsun 510 Bluebird. This is one of 3 first edition releases back from 2009. And we all know the origin story of this car. We know that it started off as pretty much a peg warmer. Not a lot of interest, even though it was JDM. Back in 2009, JDM was not really taking off to where it is right now. And then over time, Hot Wheels continued to re-release it, recolors, put it in a number of premium mainline release sets, such as Cool Classics and Vintage Racing, and then it moved on up to Rlc, probably one of the most iconic Rlc releases of all time, the BRE Datsun 510 Full Spectra Flame. I feel like that's the release that allowed this cast to take off. From there, we've seen nothing but re-releases, recolors. It's been in Rlc a number of times, it's reached convention a number of times, both nationals as well as the LA convention. Wouldn't it have been great if back in 2009, 2010, we knew that this car was going to rise to the level that it did, that it would eventually become one of the top 3 casts within the Hot Wheels world. So I personally am a strong believer in the fact that history repeats itself, and if you pay attention to all the telltale signs that Hot Wheels gives us, I think we're seeing the second coming of the Datsun 510. And that is being done with this car right here, the Nissan Skyline 2000 GTR. It's a cast that released back in 2011, just 2 years after the Datsun 510 Bluebird, and since then it's had a decent amount of releases, everywhere from the mainline recolors to premium releases such as Redlines, as well as the first car culture set of all time, Japan Historics 1. So let's take a look at both the Datsun 510 as well as the Nissan Skyline 2000 GTR/GTX and see just how comparable they really are. Starting off with the Nissan Skyline 2000 GTX, so again this was a first edition back in 2011. I actually have my 2000 GTX, the one that I purchased back in 2011, and again back then I wasn't a serious collector like I am right now, so obviously I took it out of pack, but just proud to say that I am a collector of this cast since it was released. I will say that I think this is still the cleanest version of this cast to date. Just the classic racing decal and the green and white really stand out to me. Current market value on this car right now isn't that high. It's only about $10, $15 in comparison to the Datsun 510. It's first edition from 2009. This one I know is a short card and actually has the antenna variation, but just the regular long card non-variation first edition, any of the 3 colors, they're going for about $15 to $20. So you can definitely see that the 2000 GTX has room to grow still to get to where the 510 pricing is from a first edition mainline standpoint. Let's also not forget that Hot Wheels also released premium wagon versions of each one of these casts. So you can see here, this is a C10 Skyline Wagon from Cargo Carriers back in 2018. You can see that it does have the Hakoska front end. And then obviously this is the Boulevard 510, the one that started it all with the wagon. Current market value, the Cargo Carrier C10 wagon is selling for about $20, whereas the Boulevard 510 wagon sells for about $120 to $150. Next up, we got the Supercharger Hunt. So I know this is just the mainline, guys. I am still actively in pursuit for the Supercharger Hunt from the 2022 K case of the Nissan Skyline 2000 GTX. Just no luck at the moment, but for today we'll use this as representation. So this Supercharger Hunt right now is selling for about $110 to $120, whereas the Datsun 510 Supercharger Hunt that came out just last year, it's still currently selling for about $130 to $150. Look at these cars, guys. Look how comparable they are. I mean, Hot Wheels is literally telling us, hey guys, 2000 GTX is definitely the second coming. I mean, look at this Super Treasure Hunt color on both of these cars. It's so close. And a quick RLC comparison, so I thought it'd only be fair to compare the latest releases from RLC for both of these models. So the 2000 GTR, so this was the first release of this cast in RLC with the opening hood. Currently right now it sells for about $70 to $80, which again very comparable. The Golf 510 that released earlier this year is also selling in that $70 to $80 range. And last but not least, you got convention. So this is the Datsun 510 from the latest Japan convention from earlier this year. This is the more harder to find left facing, which currently sells for about $450, but the slightly more common right facing, that one sells for about $350. So I bring this up because it was just announced that for the LA convention here in 2022, one of the convention cars is going to be the 2000 GTR in orange. So again, just proof that Hot Wheels is definitely putting the 2000 GTR in the spotlight, which you gotta admit, that's definitely going to draw collectors. That's definitely going to push everybody to want to complete their 2000 GTR collections. As far as value goes for that orange 2000 GTR that will be upcoming from the convention, my guess is that it'll fall within that $200 to $300 range, similar to some of the more previous Datsun 510s that have been released in the nationals as well as the LA conventions. So there you have it, guys. Quick comparison between the Datsun 510 and the Nissan Skyline 2000 GTX/GTR. Their rise within the Hot Wheels releases, all very similar. I really do feel like this is the second coming. If anything, guys, we might even be a little late. So if you've been a 2000 GTR, GTX collector up to this point, I mean, congratulations, because I feel like this is a cast that's going to be very popular moving forward. With Hot Wheels already having the tool for the RLC, with the Supercharger Hunt coming out this year, I feel like we can expect a lot more releases and a lot more popularity. A lot of folks, whether they're new or maybe they just were not collecting this cast up to this point, they're going to be backtracking a little bit. So again, my guess, guys, is that the 2000 GTX, the earlier releases from the last 5-6 years, are going to be very sought after. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on DieCash Cars.